Did you know that you're a victim of the rules you live by? It's Bedhead Day 22. If you're new to these videos, I roll out of bed with whatever hair that I have, totally unpolished, in my pajamas, and share some insights with you in hopes that I can give you permission to do what inspires you most and help to remove those barriers. One of my most valued outcomes is for you to stumble upon one of my videos and think to yourself, if she can do that, I can do that. Oh, let me know if I ever succeed, please. If you do come across this video and think, man, okay, she's doing it, I can do it, because that would bring me the greatest amount of joy. But let's circle back to my confronting quote that I shared with you. You are a victim of the rules that you live by. Essentially, our beliefs are what control our behaviors. They're what determine how we live our lives. And beliefs, as much as we want to fight over them and defend them, are really just a series of thoughts on repeat, repeat and repeat and repeat, loops that create patterns and patterns that create systems to where you develop belief systems, what I like to call BS for short. Have you stopped and really thought about what you believe from time to time? One of the ways that I have hacked my beliefs in various seasons of my life and really stopped and examined them, we've already talked about in a previous video, the self-limiting belief worksheets, um, in addition to doing rewrites where you create empowering beliefs. But I want to share a simple shortcut to challenging your beliefs that I learned from Byron Katie. If you've not heard of her, she's an incredible writer and teacher and facilitator. She wrote the book Loving What Is. I will give you trigger warnings on that one. I'm not sure I've made it all the way through it. It can be, there are some profoundly traumatic things that she helps people work through. Um, but she has a website called thework.com. She must have got that URL a very long time ago. But in that website, you can actually go through her inquiry process that she talks about in her books and that she has done workshops with for decades. But the piece of the inquiry process that I want to point out and tease out today is just very simple, and that is where you ask yourself at least 4 times if something that you think is true. So as you think about what you believe about yourself, about the world, you can pause for a moment, distill that down into a single simple phrase, and then ask yourself, is that true? Now, your initial answer is probably going to be, oh, yeah, that's true. Of course it is. But what she encourages you to do through this exercise is to continue to question that belief. And so you start with, is that true? And you're initially probably going to be like, yeah, that's true. But as you continue to question, is that true? Is that really true? Like, do I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is 100% factual and true? It actually starts to sort of dissolve some of the density of the belief that you have. So you might say, I'm terrible with money. And your first question, is that true? Yeah, of course that's true. I overdrafted my bank account this month and my credit card balance is growing and I can't pay it off. That may be your initial thought process. And then you continue to ask yourself, is that true? Do I know beyond a shadow of a fact that I am terrible with money? And that's where you start to process through that. Well, I mean, I still have my 401k. I managed to send some money to my niece for her braces last year. Um, I lost my job and I've managed to live off of my credit card for the last month without going crazy. Who knows exactly where you're going through in your mind. It's not about justifying who you are, but it's about creating a little bit of space around a belief, a little bit of breathing room, and challenging that thought system, that BS that's in there, so that as you work through the things, essentially, I'm so fascinated by the things that keep us stuck, right? And I truly believe that we live by rules that we didn't necessarily participate in setting. And so as you look around you in society, we have these unspoken rules that start to form our belief systems about what can and can't be done by a person with your background, with your upbringing, with your level of attractiveness or not, with your level of physical fitness, what can and can't be done with the kind of car that you drive or the place that you live. But I'm here to tell you, we live in a time and an age and in a place, particularly here in the westernized world with indoor plumbing and central heat and air for most of us, that really the sky is the limit if we just stop believing our BS as much as we do. I know that I rambled and stumbled just a little bit today, but I just want to remind you more than anything that you get to choose what you believe. You become the victim of the rules that you choose to live by. And I am not suggesting in any way, shape, or form that you run a stop sign or a red light today, or that you spend more than what is in your bank account. We're certainly not doing magical thinking, and we've agreed to be incarnate, and there are certain parameters that make this safe for all of us. However, I do highly suggest that you challenge what you think about yourself and what you think that you're capable of.